Hey guys. Hey guys, welcome back to Pillbox Movies. I'm Hank, and today we're going to be watching the 2021 French film Petite Maman. This is the fifth feature by French director Céline Sciamma. We've covered Céline Sciamma's work extensively on this channel, and so I figure, why not tackle the next one? Petite Maman is about a young girl and her family returning to her mother's childhood home after the death of her grandmother. I'm not really sure. Anyways, hilarity ensues. Céline Sciamma is definitely one of my favorite filmmakers of the 21st century. Her films are quiet, contemplative, layered, multifaceted, and I guess inexpressible in a way that I find intoxicating, engrossing, delightful. I don't need to get too much into my appreciation for Sciamma. I'm sure you have already heard enough of that. So instead, let's just check out this movie. And before we begin, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe for more old, obscure, and art house films. Leave a comment down below. And what's your favorite Céline Sciamma film?
Alexandrie.
Ivrogen, Agira, Raffle.
Au revoir. Au revoir.
Okay, so she was saying goodbye to the many women in the old folks' home because her grandmother has passed away.
Oui.
Oh, already so much is being left unsaid. Characters in Céline Sciamma films are so distant. They're feeling all these things. Their hearts are enormous. But it is your impetus as an audience member to climb into the film and find their hearts. And the emotions of the parents are at a distance. The young girl is perceiving all of them, but perhaps not understanding them.
Tu dis au revoir? J'ai dit au revoir.
Okay, and a recurring idea of saying goodbye over and over again. We don't need to bring up every little thing, but the idea that she's nourishing her mother, we may see that repeated. Is there another scene in a Céline Sciamma film of them sharing food? That's so sweet, god damn it. I love the impressionistic view of Céline Sciamma's films. Kind of like the characters in her films. You can't always occupy the center. You can't, like, see the central event. You can't see their hearts, and so you create a map to the center of their hearts by picking at pieces, by coming in from the outside, and part of that is this kind of impressionism, seeing images, seeing fleeting moments, like her feeding her mom, or her mom staring back at her in the rear view mirror. You cobble all of these together and you can get an idea of who the person is that you're looking at.
Maman, tu la faisais où ta cabane?
Dans les bois, juste derrière.
Tu me montres?
Faut que j'avance ici.
And she's like so resistant to talk about. Oh, it's the old wallpaper from when she was a child.
Tu te souviens de ça, Marion?
Okay, Nelly and Marion. Yeah, we've already kind of establishing an idea that the mother is really, really resistant to talking about any of this stuff. Oh, beautiful fall feelings. Oh, beautiful fall feelings. Hard cut. The sound design on this to make it sound like autumn. Just the sounds of the wind, the leaves blowing, and like little acorns hitting the roof. And the blue of Nelly's costume design is a wonderful, wonderful contrast with all of these kind of autumnal colors.
Ça te fait de la peine d'être ici?
Je l'aimais bien, cette chambre. Je l'aimais pas la nuit. Tu poses toujours les questions quand il s'agit d'aller te coucher.
Bah, c'est quand je te vois.
What does that mean? But yeah, the daughter, Nelly, is always inquisitive, and the mother, despite displaying care and affection, is deflecting. She can't give literal answers.
Faut attendre. C'est là qu'elle apparaît. La panthère noire. Au bout du lit. Je croyais que j'entendais son cœur battre dans mon oreiller. De plus en plus fort. Tu la vois?
Non.
Moi non plus.
I love the sounds of this old house. Oh, amazing.
Moi aussi, je suis triste. Dis-moi. Je vais pas te dire au revoir.
She didn't say goodbye.
Comment dire au revoir? Le dernier
Yeah.
n'était pas bien.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to establish
C'est parce que je savais pas.
kind of the central idea of this movie. Being able to say a good goodbye. So are there some marital problems, perhaps? Because she wasn't sleeping with her husband.
Elle a préféré partir ce matin. On a décidé que ce serait mieux comme ça.
Girl's got a nice fit. 9 years old and already more stylish than me. Look how soft it is. What beautiful exteriors. Just everything looks like it was caught in the very midst of morning on like a cool fall day.
Tu viens m'aider?
Sciamma and Forrest are just such a look. This and Tomboy, just amazing. The image of children at play in the woods is such a beautiful image in Sciamma's work.
Comment tu t'appelles? Marion. Viens.
And the appearance of water. As in all Sciamma films. Water maybe perhaps signifying passage. Closing off a portal to a different world. I love that that was signified that was initiated by rainfall. She's even got a different style undergarment. This is definitely playing into some of Sciamma's stuff from Portrait of a Lady on Fire as well. The idea of like passageways. There are a lot of like kind of in-between spaces in Portrait of a Lady on Fire, especially the staircase to the outside. And she's definitely doing some of that here with this hallway. It gives a little bit of a feeling of like Alice in Wonderland.
Tu m'as pas dit comment tu t'appelais?
Nelly? And I like the connection between her and her mother, that they both like chocolate sweets. Nelly eats her chocolate cereal, and Marianne has... Oh, I'm spoiling it. This is definitely her mom from the past. She's traveled to the past.
Ma grand-mère est aussi morte l'année dernière. Elle s'appelait comme toi.
Smart girl. Just like leaving just enough clues for you to take this journey with her to realize that this is her mom's house. The cupboard, the books. And she's going to be able to say goodbye to her grandmother. Have a good goodbye.
Tu t'en vas? Bon bah salut. Salut.
Okay, so the difference is going to be whether or not they say salut or au revoir.
Ça va?
J'ai retrouvé l'endroit de la cabane de maman. Les arbres étaient comme elle disait. Celle qu'elle a fait juste avant son opération.
Brushing really fiercely. You don't need to go that hard. Okay. So her grandmother had been sick for a while because the bed has like those medical rails to it, as well as the thing to pull yourself up. Oh, she went to get the rope to help her mother build the hut.
Voilà. 1, 2, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Retournez au départ. Non!
It's her mom as her grandma.
Bonjour.
Right, because her grandmother always had the cane.
T'es sortie, Marion?
Oh, it's a different woman.
J'ai fait attention. Je vais me faire opérer bientôt.
Yeah. So does her mom have scoliosis? Does her mom have
Si on ne
polio?
m'opère pas maintenant, je vais avoir le même problème que ma mère plus tard. C'est quand l'opération? Dans 3 jours.
Okay, so this is going to last 3 days. 3 days before her operation, 3 days of clearing out the house.
Je me suis fait une copine, je crois.
That's going to kill the resale value.
Tu seras d'accord pour que je dorme chez elle?
Quand?
Je sais pas, elle m'a pas encore invitée. Ça s'est bien passé, l'opération de maman?
Elle te l'a raconté, non?
Oui, mais elle a peut-être pas tout dit.
She may not have told everything.
On parlait jamais de quand vous étiez enfant. Je sais pas les vrais trucs.
Et c'est quoi
The
les
distance between children and their
Un truc
parents.
que t'avais peur, par exemple.
Bah, j'avais peur de plein de trucs, comme tout le monde.
Parents will always be unknowable to their children. But perhaps that doesn't need to be the case. I'm going to pause for a second. Yeah, I guess I just want to quickly say this is a kind of idea that I'm formulating watching Sciamma's other stuff as well as this other film that I watched recently, Cria Cuervos. So I think this movie is developing on the idea that there's this kind of divide in communication between parents and children. Usually in films we see that divide is caused by hostilities between them. Even in Sciamma's other works, we kind of see borderline abusive or neglectful parents who are ignoring their children or don't kind of realize the trauma that their children are going through. This is evident with Adele's mother in Portrait of Lady on Fire, with definitely with Mikhail's mother in Tomboy, and to a lesser extent with Vic's mom in Girlhood, because she was just busy and working all the time. Not Adele, Eloise's mother in Portrait of Lady on Fire. So I think this is kind of building on that idea of this kind of communicational divide, but it's kind of presenting a kink in that or a development in that. This is shown to be a pretty warm relationship between Nelly and her parents. There isn't like any kind of strife or complication in their relationship with each other, but even with that, the parents are still kind of reticent to sharing themselves and sharing aspects of them that Nelly's inquisitive about. Both the mother and the father resist answering some of the questions she asks. And I think part of the reason for that, childhood can feel like a very isolating experience. Like you feel like trapped in your childhood and nobody knows and understands what you're going through. And it takes a long time to kind of like find your way out of that and find your way into a feeling of life that you feel like free and at your own liberty to lead the life you want to lead. And so when these parents are expressing like an anxiety about sharing their childhood with Nelly, I think they're expressing kind of an anxiety of like revisiting that trauma, both in sharing that with Nelly, like thinking that she isn't old enough or isn't experienced enough to have to shoulder those burdens, and also because they don't want to revisit that feeling of being isolated, being trapped in their own childhood. It's looking good. I also kind of like how, in order to establish Nelly, they also have her wear a ponytail as well as overalls.
Regardez dans mon sommeil. Et pourquoi on te tue? Pour l'argent. Je suis américaine, mais
Oui, l'argent.
Ok, tu veux être qui d'autre? L'inspecteur. J'ai beaucoup plus de personnages que toi. C'est normal.
I don't remember if this is... I don't think this is something I've seen in Sciamma's other stuff, but this is definitely also an idea that's expressed in, like, Edward Albee plays, for example, that characters sometimes use games to express things to each other. Games are a kind of a proxy setting in which to open up, to kind of be yourself or to display your own personality. It's definitely evident in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. But I'm getting kind of inklings that that kind of idea is being expressed here with Nelly and Marianne playing games with each other. Perhaps in the same way that...
Vous pouvez m'aider avec la cravate?
That Eloise and...
Viens ici.
That Eloise and Marianne make art and go on their walks in Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Bulbe.
Où ça?
Et du coup là, c'est...
Ici, jaune.
T'es doué pour ton âge, dis donc.
I wonder if Nelly's gay.
Je me suis couchée à 21h et il était à côté de moi. Il est mort. Il est mort entre 13h et 6h du matin.
I love this specter kind of lighting they've got
Il
going.
avait des problèmes à l'usine Coca-Cola. Et vous? Vous êtes secrète? Vous savez, les secrets, c'est pas forcément des choses qu'on cherche à cacher. C'est juste qu'on a personne à qui les dire.
So these characters might be too young for Sciamma to express directly
Tu vas trop bien.
questions
Toi
about
aussi.
their queerness or
J'aimerais bien
sexuality.
être actrice.
But perhaps there's just a slight tinge of that
Vraiment?
in Nelly's
Oui.
cross-dressing
C'est mon rêve.
or
J'en
play
peux
acting
plus
a
de pas
boy.
sortir. On pourrait pas aller chez toi pour changer? Chez moi, pas possible. À cause de ta grand-mère? Non. Ma mère est partie. Pourquoi? Je sais pas. T'as peur pour ton opération? Oui. Maman dit qu'on se retrouve chez moi, mais on se retrouve à la cabane. Je suis contente qu'on se soit rencontrés.
Oh, just that change. That's so cold.
Ça va?
It's cute.
J'ai un secret. Il faut que tu le saches. Je suis ton enfant. Je suis ta fille.
This is saying
Tu
something
viens du futur.
on top of what the movie actually is.
Je
In a
viens du
way,
chemin derrière toi.
this kind of dialogue between
Montre-moi.
this kind of fantastical dialogue between a child and their parent, in a way it feels like the fantasy version of a coming out story, of a desire to be open and be honest and to have them hear you and live in the same world as you and still be supportive.
J'ai quel âge? 31 ans. Elle meurt quand j'ai 31 ans.
Oh no.
Elle en parle toujours comme si c'était demain.
Oh, that's fair. Because her mother has a congenital disorder.
T'as gardé sa canne? Oui. Tu l'aimais beaucoup.
Ouais.
Énormément.
C'est fini.
On pourrait pas partir demain matin?
C'est l'anniversaire de maman aujourd'hui. Ça lui fera une bonne surprise.
Oh, and it's her birthday here too.
Je te comprends pas, Nelly, là. T'es pas pressée de la retrouver?
Si, je voulais rester encore une nuit. Tu t'en vas? Oui. Bonjour. Tu vois, je t'ai invité.
Je vois. Une
You
autre
can
fois?
stay one more time. Oh no. You can stay one more day.
Il n'y aura pas d'autre fois.
Why? Because she's having her operation. Is she gonna stay here? No, they're gonna leave tomorrow morning, right? Is she gonna stay here? She can't. She has to go back home. Oh god, these kids are so dangerous.
Vous êtes en retard. Excusez-moi. C'était quand la dernière fois?
Yeah, I wonder if this is just this little hint, because Sciamma obviously perhaps doesn't want to explore it with characters of this age, but just the subtle hint that Nelly likes to play the male
Vous
characters.
êtes incorrigible, inspecteur. Je voulais vous revoir. Moi aussi, je voulais vous revoir.
Because I'm in love
Dites-le-moi
with
quand
you.
même. Parce que je vous aime.
Oh god, disgusting. Sciamma skirting that Jack to me line.
Joyeux
Anniversaire, joyeux anniversaire, joyeux anniversaire, Marianne. What's she gonna wish for? For her operation to go well?
Joyeux anniversaire, Joyeux anniversaire.
Pourquoi elle est partie? Elle me l'a pas dit. Qu'est-ce qu'il dit ton père? Pas grand-chose. Mais il est triste.
Yeah, this is skirting around a lot of kind of
J'ai l'impression
familial
que
issues.
tout le monde se pose des questions. Je te voulais. Oui. Ça ne m'étonne pas. Parce que je pense déjà à toi.
That's beautiful. And the sounds of the wind outside again. Look and see the panther. And this is a slight reversal of what happened on the first night. That
Quelle heure il est?
her mom got
7 heures.
up and left her to sleep.
On a le temps de faire un dernier truc ensemble. C'est la musique du futur. Oui. Fais-moi entendre.
It's para one. Para one coming in hot. Yes. Give me that Illuminati connection in Céline Sciamma films.
Tu as peur? De quoi?
In a subtle way, I also like how
Je
they
ne reviens pas.
don't do a lot of work that to establish what time
Tout va bien se passer.
Nelly is from.
Parce que tu es souvent malheureuse.
Yeah,
Tu es pas souvent contente d'être là.
yeah.
Je crois que ce n'est pas ta faute.
Okay.
Tu crois? Parfois, je me dis ça.
Yeah.
Tu n'as pas inventé ma tristesse. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
She got to say goodbye to her grandmother. Oh, God.
Pardon.
Pardon de quoi?
De t'avoir laissé. Je voulais voir une dernière fois. Ça fait bizarre.
Oui. Rien.
Nelly.
Ooh, comédie française. Wow. Let me say from the beginning that this is definitely not my favorite Céline Sciamma film. I'm sure all of you will feel something similar or in varying degrees that this is probably her weakest film. I'm going to say that that's probably intentional. This seems like the most tone poemy of any of her films, and even more of a kind of, I want to say, like a feeling of a break or a little retreat than I'd say that Tomboy was from Water Lilies. And in that vein, I think this was doing that, and to an even more extreme degree. So I would understand if people didn't necessarily. People may resonate with this, but I can understand why people might not feel as passionate about this. And I certainly don't feel as passionate about this as I do Sciamma's other stuff. Hi-ho, this is Editing Hank once again, back to tell you that my mind has completely changed on this movie as well. Yeah, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since seeing it, and I don't even know what to say. I literally cried the entire time while editing this video because this movie's just like, it's really good. It's really, 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 really good. We're kind of circling around this kind of larger idea that's looming that we can't articulate, and we're just kind of seeing like the movie was shot moments before the disaster, that this is a movie that's like moments before the overwhelming act, the thing that we can't discuss, the thing that we can't face, whether that's Marianne's operation, whether that's moments after Nelly's grandmother's death, whether that's Marianne's depression and what we may speculate as the divorce of Nelly's parents or the dissolution of their family in some way. All these things are being hinted at, but none of the characters are bringing it to the fore. And so we have to like kind of circle around it and gather as many details as we can, like an inspector, like Nelly, trying to investigate, trying to penetrate to the truth as far as we can. And it's kind of the optimism, but also the pain of this movie that we have these questions of people in our lives. We have these questions of our parents, why they're sad, why we can't communicate with them, why they withhold things from us. And this movie offers a brief reprieve, but also knowledge that that uncertainty can't be breached. Nelly can't know why her mother is sad. That's an unanswerable question. Even she can't answer it because she's 9 years old in the movie. And the closest that Nelly can get to an answer, the smallest glimmer of hope, is that she doesn't make her mother feel sad. Which isn't the answer, but it's worth a lot. In some ways, this movie is about the inconsolable. And this is sometimes something I feel in Sciamma's characters, the inconsolable, whether it's a child or it's an adult. It's a person who's unable to express themselves or be at liberty to be themselves. Marianne, Nelly's mother, in a way is inconsolable because she has this sadness, this secret that she's unwilling to express to anybody directly. Nelly can feel it, her father can feel it. They know that she's sad, but she won't tell them about it in any real terms. And I think that's what Sciamma's expressing here, that we are inconsolable when we're unable to communicate. And so, like, while this isn't the most emotionally impacting of Sciamma's works, I think it circles around some of the feelings that are like the most devastating and unknowable. Not knowing your parents, of not being able to talk honestly with your parents, not knowing what is causing your parents' sadness or anger or neglect or abuse or breach that kind of veil of privacy. Like, I feel like this is like a huge divorce movie and gets away with it without really expressing it. So yeah, that was Petite Maman. I don't want to make it sound like I didn't resonate with this film. I absolutely did. But it's just not the cathartic feeling of some of her other work. This almost feels like this is almost like her most dreadful movie in a way, like intentionally conjuring feelings of dread if you think about it long enough, or if I think about it long enough from my perspective. But maybe you felt differently. I don't know. Leave a comment down below. What do you think of Petite Maman? It's an easy watch. It's like 70 minutes. Give it the time if you have it. And remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, keep watching good movies.